Hi everyone, welcome back to another video. I'm so happy that you're here. I'm so excited also to talk to you about today's topic, which is going to be my sewing intentions / resolutions for 2020, the upcoming new year. And I'd love to hear what your maker's intentions are for the upcoming year. Like, super excited. I'm starting to see some of those come out, and I'm thrilled about it. I hope that we can continue to be like makers and creators together. That always gets me so excited, like the act of making things. Now, speaking of intentions, I will be using kind of the words intentions and resolutions and goals interchangeably, but as a whole, I prefer the term intentions because that leaves me some flexibility for change. Not to drop my goal completely, but because I find if we're setting a year-long goal super early, sometimes we need to tweak or adapt the goal. And if you're locked into something that's so hard set, when you want to change it or the situation calls for some kind of change, I feel almost quite guilty that I'm abandoning the goal or abandoning the resolution, whereas it makes more sense for me to tweak it to fit the current situation and continue to work on some kind of an adapted or modified version of that original goal. So I like to call them intentions, but I'm sure somewhere through the video I will be using all three terms interchangeably, and that's kind of a little explanation towards that if you're ever wondering. So in the same journey, I have planned out 6 different intentions, and they're kind of, again, category areas. As I am talking, I'm going to pop up some pictures of potential patterns I might want to use to fill each of these 6 categories, but again, totally flexible, totally fluid. If you have a great pattern recommendation or something popped into your mind, it's like this will be great for intention number 4 or 6 or whatever, drop it down in the comments for me below. I'm just, this is like loose inspiration popping up right here. So number 1, in no particular order, I'd love to continue to try and make some outerwear. I still have not made any real outerwear pieces. I made things like cardigans, like this one that I'm wearing, and like throws and stuff like that, but like real semi-real outerwear that you wear outside when it's cold and to keep yourself warm and potentially dry. I'm actually quite excited about that, and I think part of it is the fear of working with those fabrics. Those technical fabrics do have a learning curve, either with different attachments and different needles and thread and how to work with them. I just haven't done enough of them to feel confident in making up any kind of outerwear. But because this is a new year, I have another 12 months to figure it out. And I recently just purchased a new vintage, no, I wouldn't say vintage, a new retro sewing pattern that is gorgeous. It is a reversible kind of a trench coat. It's got raglan sleeves, it's got open cuffs, it's like a wrap style. I think that would be perfect as a first outerwear piece. It's got no zippers, it's got no like fussy cuffs or cufflinks or bands, it doesn't have a fussy collar, like all those things I think might be a good thing. So I've got a few potential outerwear ideas in mind, but I really do want to try sewing some form of outerwear. I still might cheat a little and end up with like a duster coat or something spring and summer. Those are a lot less intimidating and I think totally much more approachable. As I'm talking, you probably would have seen a few examples of potential candidates up here on the screen. So outerwear is certainly my very first goal I want to work towards. The second category is really mastering the basics. Now, in my life goals for 2020, which I think will come out probably after this video, I will be talking about kind of a shift in my personal perspective and personal life direction and values and things like that. And one of that is not just sewing more for quantity, but really mastering and honing in all my skills on basic re-wearable essential items to build up my wardrobe. Now, full disclaimer, I am not a capsule wardrobe person. I don't think that will ever be me. And I do recognize that as a maker, practicing your craft, you do need to make mistakes in order to perfect your basics and perfect your basic skills. So it is a little ironic that while I do want to hone in and master the basics, I do need to make a lot of mistakes in order to get there. So part of the learning process. But regardless, I would like to make more things in basic shapes, or like just perfect a couple of patterns that I know time and time again will work for me. For example, I do have a pants pattern, like a wide leg pant, kind of a lounge pant that I love the length, the style. I can sew it really quickly. It's beautiful, and that is like one thing that I know is a go-to. So I want to develop and tweak a couple of the patterns that I already own to make them like perfect and those standard go-tos for me and for my lifestyle, and then just make a few of them in like really fun, cool fabrics or patterns or something like that. So that is number 2. Number 3, I love to continue making a selfless project. This has been something that's on my list for a couple of years now, and I did pretty good. Like last year for 2019, I made something for my dad for his birthday, which is good. Was it birthday or Father's Day? I can't remember. They're kind of close together. But he wears it. You know, it's not perfect, but it was a lot of fun to make, and to make something for somebody else. Now of course things like fit and whatnot gets a little tricky if you don't know them super well. I'm not sure exactly what it will be yet. It might be like a gift of like some baby clothes, not saying but saying, not for me but like for friends and family, and then maybe something for like my brother. I don't know, I'm still thinking about it. A couple of ideas, but it's all up in the air. I do want to make sure that I do make a selfless sewing project, so a gift for somebody else. Okay, number 4, I want to focus on creating some luxe athleisure wear. Athleisure is something new to me, just like outerwear. My personal style has kind of divided itself a little bit into when I want to feel like dressy and cute and whatnot, and then there's the part where I want to lounge around at home and be cozy and comfortable and be like non-fussy. Unfortunately, at this current time, the two don't quite gel all the time. There are pieces that I can wear for both, you know, divides, but I do want some more athleisure wear that's also like either fun fabrics or cozy or cool, just something. And I find that the sewing patterns nowadays, or at least recently I've noticed, have come up with a bit more athleisure wear, especially from the big 4, like just, you know, your standard commercial patterns. I'm not super into sewing indie just because they tend to be more expensive, hard to get a hold of, but certainly there's options there as well. But speaking as a whole, I've been gathering a lot more either vintage or modern big 4 company sewing patterns that are like sporty, loungewear, athleisure, cozy wear, and I'm so into that right now. I'm super excited actually about this category. Number 5, I'm talking about patterns and color, and this is more of a general category. I do, you know, buy and own a lot of really fun patterned, colored fabrics, but there's always this fear of how do I combine them. I'm not a great like pattern mixer. You know, how do I mix the colors and what goes well together? And if I have a really flashy piece, is wearing this with that just too much? I tend to wear a lot of solids in my everyday life, to be honest, and if I do go for patterns, it's very simple. It's like a stripe or maybe a polka dot. That's all you're gonna get out of me. Like this fox print situation, like this is pretty new. Up to about maybe a year or 2 ago, I would have bought the fabric for sure, but I wouldn't know what to make out of it. But wearing these colorful things make me super happy, and I think really fits into my life right now. So I am super gung-ho on making more patterns. Alright, here is my last sewing intention, number 6, which is continue on the fun and frivolous road. I want to make at least one piece that is just like kind of unnecessary, but just really fun to wear. It might not be practical, I don't know, but knowing me, I will try to like tweak something that's practical and add a fun element instead of just making something completely out of the box. But we'll see where that goes. I don't have like a solid plan for that category yet, but I like the idea of just having that option open, you know, encouraging myself to be like more creative and a little bit more daring than what I normally am. And of course, with the purpose of I do wear all of the clothes that I make, hopefully it'll be something that I can wear that's just kind of fun and snazzy, even if I just wear around the house or I'm outside of work. So those are my 6 sewing intentions, and I feel really pumped about them. I love to hear about yours if you have been thinking about them, even if you don't have all of it sorted out yet. What direction do you want to go in? Either with your crafting or your sewing or your knitting or your quilting, whatever that you do. I just love to kind of dig into your world and maybe get inspired by you as well. Before I end my video today, I do want to share like this brilliant quote from a video I was watching. I've been subscribed to this channel for a while now, but I've recently started going back and watching some of the older episodes, and it's from the channel Gentleman Jim Tailor, and they do like a video podcast, and this is from episode number 10. I think it is actually about sewing resolutions or something to that nature, and he says, quote in that video, you know, where you start isn't necessarily where you finish. And I love kind of that idea to carry with me into the new year, and for anything, not just with sewing but with any kind of plans and goals that you make. I think it's important to create a game plan, but you know, where you start in January isn't necessarily where you end up in December with your plans, and that's okay. But allowing yourself that flexibility, at the same time having some kind of a guiding course, I think is brilliant and super important. So those are my 6 sewing intentions or resolutions or goals and plans for the upcoming year 2020. Again, link me to yours, chat with me down below in the comment section, and I will see you very soon next time. Have a wonderful weekend or wherever that you are. Bye everybody.